Now that you've found UBN Radio and discovered our quality talk shows, it's time to spread the word to friends, family, and the universe. 24 hours of music and talk. Radio without limits. That's why people keep coming back for more. That's UBNradio.com.
Hey. Welcome to Richard Listens live here on UBN Radio TV from the beautiful Sunset Gower Studios in Hollywood, California, on the corners of Sunset Boulevard and Gower. Go figure. Many famous movies and TV shows have been made here before in the past. Dexter, How to Get Away with Murder, all kinds of Newsroom. Easy Rider filmed some stuff here, and now here we are with Richard Listens at UBN Radio TV in the Sunset Gower Studios. I'm your host, Peter Sobey, and I'm always happy to be the host of this show. And we had a really great show a couple of weeks ago for our last live show. We had a fitness trainer named Garrison Reese here, and we learned a lot of great things and motivational tips about working out and training. And Dr. Richard, our psychologist, gave us some great motivation. I gave a little smattering of motivation. Garrison gave us some motivation. And, a really funny thing, too, about Garrison, we kind of asked him a lot about his history and, the people he trains and all that kind of stuff. And it was great. He told us a lot. But then after the show, he cracks out his phone. He's like, here's a picture of me with Jimmy Butler. I train these NBA athletes. It's like, and you waited till after the show to tell us that. So that was pretty funny.
Yeah, so no keeping secrets. And Peter, please stop recruiting only Chicago area fans.
And on that note, it's Dr. Richard Ohlberger. Hey, welcome, Dr. Richard, to your show.
Thank you. Glad to have a show named after me.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. And I think the show will always be named after you, but there will be teasers throughout this show, I'll tell you right now. And even though the show will always be named after you, there might be variations of that name.
Listen, change is constant, and it's, I'm used to sharing the stage with powerful women. So.
Oh, that's a pretty big teaser hint right there. So sharing the stage with powerful women.
Leading mom and a powerful sister, so I was raised to respect.
Okay.
Bringing in the leaders of the field. So, we'll leave it at that for now.
Yeah, we're not going to say what that means, but people can start, making their guesses and everything and making speculations, and good speculations. We're not talking about gossip. We're good speculations because we're going to give in some teases throughout the show. And the biggest tease of all will be the Richard Listens list of 3 toward the end of the show is going to kind of tie in with this big tease. And that being said, we only have one more show left to this calendar year, because we broadcast every other Monday night, and our next show is Monday, December 12th, 2 weeks from tonight. And we have a great guest that we will tell you about at the end of the show in the Richard Listens list of 3. But that being said, Richard, this is our next to last show for this calendar year. But one thing we can say right now that's not a tease with 150% certainty is that we are back next year. We will be here next year.
We will be here.
Monday night still. And so that will not change. But as Richard has teased, there will be some very exciting changes that we are very excited about.
Yes, we're listening to our listeners. That's what we do.
So more on that later.
We care about your feedback.
So, Dr. Richard, before we get into any further here, we are on UBNRadioTV.com, Channel 1, but we're also on Richard Listens Facebook Live. And you could watch it in either place, but if you check in on Richard Listens Facebook, we might just mention you on air, and you can ask a question or leave a comment. We'll give you a shout-out. And already I'm really excited because we have a lot of check-ins already.
Right.
Last week, I think, or the last show, people might have been checking out for Thanksgiving already or something, but my good dear friend, Lori Storty Hankey, is with us live, and I'm sure her husband Bud's not too far away. So hi, Lori and Bud. I love you guys much. And Richard just get the volume down on his phone there, which is great. And hey, we have Matthew Peugeot from Pensacola, Florida.
Hi, Matt.
That's a buddy of yours, right?
Good to have you here on this late hour.
Back in your basketball days?
Oh no, this is I think elementary school, definitely middle school. But yes, we shared Covert Elementary together. And he remembers to post photos of me in middle school for my birthday. So thank you.
Oh, he's the one that posted that. That's right.
Thank you.
That's right. And happy belated birthday, Richard.
Thank you.
You just celebrated a birthday a few days ago.
I did. The celebration doesn't end.
And it looks like you had a really, really great dinner, right?
Had a great dinner. Had a great workout. Studio had me wear an extra 20-pound vest, so that was a great gift to start the day.
What did you think of my birthday gift to you? My JPEG I made for you, slam dunking.
Well, it was awesome knee-high socks. And,
right.
Yes, dunking. We all want to visualize ourselves dunking. So
dunking a birthday cake.
But haven't had birthday cake yet, so I'm holding out. I'm holding out for a donut in Portland.
Oh, okay.
Since donut is a theme of this show.
Wow, and that's something to get to too. But first off, a few more and also a shout out to Matthew, your friend too, because he checked in the last show, but like right after we were signing off, so we couldn't give him a shout out. So Matthew, thanks for checking in early on the show.
And Matt does some beautiful art, and check him out.
All right, yeah, check him out on Facebook. And it looks like we also have Diane Schieffer is here, another friend. She's actually my birth mom's sister. She says, hi, Peter and Richard listens. Diane Schieffer listening from Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Hi, Diane.
Wow, so we have... Oh, and Matthew says, happy belated birthday. He's repping from middle school. So we have, and thank you, Matthew just thanked me. So we have Pensacola, Florida watching us. We have Wisconsin watching us. This is crazy. So it looks like we also have, wow, I got some friends watching. Egna Kingsman is watching from Las Vegas. She used to be the manager at my apartment building, and she moved away to Vegas like probably about 8 years ago or so. But we hooked up on Facebook again, and she was just a great, not just a great building manager, but just a great woman. I really have a lot of love and respect for Edna.
So it's important to be a good apartment manager. There's so many bad ones out there.
Absolutely.
They fill my office. What you do, you bad managers, you create stress.
And then I've got an old friend from high school listening, Carrie Burns. Hi, Carrie. I forgot where you're at, Carrie, but I know it's on the East Coast somewhere. So we got another late night East Coast listener, and my dear friend Peggy Lewis has signed in and is listening to us right here from lovely Southern California. And Peggy's an amazing writer. She wrote a short film that I produced recently, and she's in the middle of writing a musical called London Calling, based on the music of The Clash. That's very exciting, and maybe we'll keep you up to date on that as her and her husband get more along toward getting it up and going here in Southern California. So Richard, we have a lot of people listening. It's very exciting, and keep checking in. We'll keep mentioning you, and we've done a lot of talking before we get to our guests, but we're going to make them wait just a couple minutes more because we're just speaking about your birthday.
Oh, wait, David Trung joined us from Skid Row.
Yes.
Congrats on your marathon, David Trung. Keep going.
All right, go David.
Keep going, man. Inspiring and running with people on Skid Row. Maybe you'll get us from the studio down there.
And actually, maybe was it David that checked in the last show?
He's been avid. He's an avid fan.
Well, thanks a lot for listening, and it does mean a lot when they listen live and check in. All of a sudden, like I feel like we're like KCRW during a pledge drive or something. It's like, all right, and thank you, David Trung from
What
Skid
did he
Row.
win? What does David win?
Like,
what does David win? Any donation will go to feed the homeless on Skid Row.
So but anyways, it was your birthday, and you mentioned that you didn't have any birthday cake because you're holding out for a Portland donut. What's that all about? That goes beyond me and my love of donuts. You're talking a whole nother level here.
You know what? Yeah, I talk about, I don't know what you call this, but I focus on donuts a lot. I don't eat many, but I will be having one. I've heard that, I'm open to suggestions, but I've heard Voodoo Donuts is the best up in Portland. Yeah. I'm willing to try up to 2 or 3 different kinds. That's what I will do for you as my loyal listeners. So any suggestions? I hope to work it off with some basketball with some friends from the Maccabi basketball team up there. Hope to get some run in the 40-degree temperature.
And do you care to share with us anything? Why, when, what? Why are you going to Portland?
This is just part of, total accountability and giving myself sometimes, I think, a little bit of spontaneity. This idea came up to go and visit and give myself a little birthday present with seeing a place I haven't seen, and regularly recommend to people, go check out things that place you want to be, see people, see friends, engage yourself, live your life. And so it's good to see a friend, play some ball, get to go see a Portland Trailblazers game. I love basketball.
Oh, great.
Love seeing new arenas. So it's like I'm 12 all over again. And my dear friend Jason Stein will be performing there, opening up for Amy Schumer as well. So get to see that show and connect with him. Great to see your friends from middle school and before, just pursuing their dreams and staying connected. So it's an amazing opportunity, and I'm fortunate enough, hopefully, to have a meeting engaging the wonderful professionals over at Adidas on Thursday. So
Zoinks, Adidas, all right.
Yeah, we won't say more than that. We don't know where, but Universe is open to projects helping athletes and youth, and all the different projects that we're engaging in through Richard Listens and with our teammates and collaborators.
Amazing.
And who knows who wants to be a part of the team.
And all I know is that, since we are predominantly a sports psychology-based show, hearing the words Adidas are pretty exciting to me. So I know I and all of our listeners will look forward to hearing more on December 12th.
Yes, I'm excited.
When we next have a show.
We're open to all kinds of sponsors and gear. Peter needs
just
some gear.
Good energy.
He's only wearing Chicago athletic gear. We gotta.
Yeah, I need to expand my hat horizon and everything. So we are going to get to our guests here in a moment, but Richard, there is one more thing you mentioned about connecting with the Maccabees and stuff, and you handed me a business card here right before the show started, and this is pretty exciting. Tell me about this.
Well, that's right. Well, one of our previous guests, Jeff Liss, gave me a birthday gift of business cards and magnets. How often do you get a refrigerator magnet with your name on it?
Wow.
Calling me the president and coach for the Special Maccabees this year. So I'm honored to be in the first month of the program this year, and we'll be building up and practicing through mid-February, when we'll be having our final game, and you're all invited to come out and cheer and see, hopefully, these athletes get medals from maybe an actual previous Olympic athlete. And it's amazing, exciting to see, how grateful they are to be out there and to be on the court.
Because last year they received their medals from Lenny
Kraselberg. So hopefully he'll be back, former Olympic swimmer. Yeah.
And I think by hook or by crook, we're hoping that Lenny will make an appearance on our show next year, whether it's in person for an entire show or maybe we'll Skype him in for about 10 minutes, but that's going to be great.
We hope so. After we tell his story, maybe.
Exactly, because another tease for next year, but one of our guests next year is going to be a woman who is producing a documentary on Lenny's story. So that alone is pretty exciting as well, and that's probably going to be a good time to bring him into the fold as well. So lots of exciting things coming, but you have to live in the here and now. And we've spoke of a lot of excitement for the future, but I am hot danged excited about our guest tonight.
I think that's a term he would use.
I think it is. So without further ado, Dr. Richard, would you please introduce our guest?
Thank you very much, Peter. Yes, our guest tonight, I'm going to give him the respect of, if I'm allowed to call myself a fellow martial artist, because I think I knew him for about at least 5 years before he even acknowledged to me that he did martial arts, which is a wonderful example of the humility. And he certainly didn't carry himself around like one of the bad guys in The Karate Kid. So he didn't walk around trying to intimidate people. And I had the good fortune in the martial arts, we often learn of other students through their teacher. So I had a good fortune of being with his teacher, Mr. Jerry Erickson. He was actually my roommate on a trip to Israel on an energy tour. So I apologize, Jerry, for keeping you up all night with my jet lag. But if it meant that I got to meet your teacher, your student. I'm grateful. So I will not do him the disservice of describing his own martial arts training. I will say that he's fabulous. We won't spoil his acting deeds, but
Right.
we will say that he's worked alongside some of the greatest and worked in Hollywood and has multiple talents. But he is known now only to me as the Nunchaku King. So without further ado, my guest tonight is Mr. Alan Rubin.
All right, welcome to the show, Alan Rubin,
Thank you for having me.
the Nunchaku King. We've kind of teased that on our promos, so what is that all about?
Nunchakus is my toy of choice. As a kid, that's what I played with mostly was Nunchakus instead of G.I. Joes. And my parents will attest to it by the holes in the walls and the doors. Yes.
I guess that's what threw me off is so basically, like when I was a kid, we called them nunchucks, but same thing, right?
Nunchucks.
Nunchucks.
Yeah, you get hit, you get numb.
Right.
Exactly.
Nunchucks. Okay. And so you are the Nunchaku King. Like you can go to www.thenunchakuking.com, right?
Nunchaku, yes.
Nunchaku.
NunchakuKing.com. And BallySongKing.com as well, butterfly knives.
And you can go to facebook.com/the Nunchaku. I can't say it.
The Nunchaku King.
Nunchaku King. And like if people saw some of our promos for today's show, we had a couple of pictures of you back in the day with your nunchakus doing some kicks and some splits.
Yeah, so let's get serious about it. So when did you start? Because you didn't just start next to Chuck Norris, right? I mean, it just didn't start there, right? There must have been some. I mean, were you like a violent child? Were you just like, did you see Karate Kid and you were like, or was this predating?
Yes, I was a hyperactive Ritalin child, exactly.
Okay, good. We get right to it now. Let's get right to to become the king of something. You got to start early.
You have to start on some high-speed medication. No, yeah, I was 8 years old, and actually I started nunchakus at the same time as I started Japanese jiu-jitsu at the YMCA in Torrance, and the teacher is still there.
Wow.
Teaching that. Yeah, that's
So
how I started.
did you love them both? Did you have to choose at an early age to really specialize, or were you able to kind of learn from a variety? That's because Torrance is rich with different traditions, right?
Oh, martial arts is big in Torrance with the Gracies out there, and in Osanto, down in Osanto, Jikundo. There's a lot of amazing teachers and trainers out there. But yeah, I was started off with a gang of the city gave me my first pair of nunchakus. They were called the Boys. It was a bunch of girls that had a tea party. No, just kidding. But it was a bunch of also hyperactive Ritalin children that all got together and said, "How many days did you not do Ritalin?" I said, 2. Oh my God, too much energy. So
really, was there like a gang welcoming kind of thing for your energy and your training? Was it like a belonging kind of thing? We jest, but
it was. If there was this group, and they were kind enough to give me my first pair of nunchakus, which were broomsticks with a rubber tube tied through them.
right.
Showed me a few moves, and I took it from there. Basically.
So this is outside of the dojo learning. This is the Streets of Torrance learning.
Yes, and I had a tree out front of my parents' house that was my training tree that grew to be a big knotted tree.
Wow. So there was some parallel between the nice teaching from the wise old sensei in the multi-discipline of martial arts, and then the streets were giving you a initiation of your own.
Absolutely. There's a reality check.
Yeah.
When you're young and you're in a class like jiu-jitsu, it's not something that you can immediately go and use because it takes a lot of practice with jiu-jitsu. And nunchakus, you learn quick. You hit something with it, it hits you back. So it bounces back. It was an immediate street learning situation.
Yeah, and that's a good point about nunchaku is that if you don't use them correctly, you're going to hurt yourself. So
Oh, yeah.
I mean, did your parents kind of step in? Were they concerned? Or was it your little secret?
Yeah, you couldn't take that toy away from me no matter. My parents, they didn't like it, but that was my thing. I loved that, the nunchakus. It gives you a feeling of coordination, and when you can really fly with that and you can smoothly make your moves, you feel a little more confident, and it transfers into things you do in life.
Yeah. So how much of this love is like, young Skywalker learning a craft, and how much of it was motivated by people not being so friendly in the school environs?
Well, basically, I'd have to say my martial arts was based on anger. And it all started when I was a little kid and my parents told me about the Holocaust, and I was very upset that nobody did anything, I felt like that's not going to happen again to me. So, and then you get into school where there's bullies and they call you names based on religion or race, and
You got a new face to that enemy, huh?
yeah, and so the martial arts was my thing. Plus, I was one of the smallest kids in the school, and I mean, when I graduated high school, I was 123 pounds, so I wasn't very big, and I had to do something desperate. So I learned the martial arts and the nunchakus. And I always had those nunchakus tucked in my side when I went to the high school parties, and everyone said, "Oh, let's do a show, do a show."
So people thought it was really cool.
Oh yeah, because I was fast. It was fast.
And you know what's interesting about the nunchakos that you just mentioned is I never thought of them this way. You said, like with the nunchakos, I'm pronouncing it good now, right?
Good enough.
I'm getting there. But, if you don't use them correctly, they hit you back and stuff, but it kind of makes sense too, like on a spiritual or moral level. You put something bad in the world, maybe something bad comes back. You put something good in the world, something good comes back. So it's kind of like that with the nunchakos. Maybe if you're using them wrong, it comes back to you in a bad way,
Oh, it certainly does. I got a scar
Right.
here and elbow scars.
And, you mentioned that people are always like, give us a show, give us a show. Now, we're not going to expect a show, but we do want to see the nunchakos, do we not? We want to see them, right?
Yeah.
Yes, I think they're here. So before Alan cracks out his nunchakos, just a couple more
I know.
shout-outs here.
Yeah, Miriam Shmulevich is asking for the nunchakus.
Yes, Miriam Shmulevich wants to see the nunchakos.
She's a big Crow fan.
And we've got actually another high school friend of mine, Brian O'Reilly, is watching us live. And I think Brian's in Ohio now or something, but he did do a shout out to me. He said, "Killing it on the airways, Peter. Good work. Sound great." Thanks, Brian. That means a lot. But, look at the guys I'm surrounded with here, including our great engineer, Jarvis. A shout out to Jarvis. You can't see him on camera, but he keeps the show running smooth and gives you fun things to look at on screen besides our mugs.
Yep.
So that's
I
always
think
great.
he's digging up some secrets right now.
Yes, he's
Secrets.
always digging through looking for stuff. So, and then
We'll make sure the nunchucks are safely put away before we reveal.
right, and then we got Eitan Braverman has joined in and is watching us.
Welcome to
here
LA
live.
from
Hello,
Toronto.
Eitan.
Hello.
So that's exciting. So all that being said, with some check-ins there, Nunchaku King, can we see the nunchucks?
Oh, these are my high school ones, too. The
Wow.
ones I carried around for a long time.
Wow.
See the scars? They're all scarred up.
We might have to go to a single on them there, Jarvis. Even though I know you're working the camera, but keep holding those babies up so that we're gonna. Oh yeah, look at that.
They've been through battles, and they survived. There are many that haven't.
So is that your only pair, or tell us a little bit about those? Keep holding them up for a second.
No, I have a bunch of pairs, and I have the kind that screw together. I have metal ones. I have extendable ones. I have many wood ones. I have rubber ones for training students, which I do nunchaku classes for. Basically, 5 classes, and you know how to use nunchakus and well enough to be on your own. I don't want anyone dependent on me. I want them to show me what they can do. I show them the moves. They practice. They get better. They're off on their own.
Wow.
I'm in.
But those are really close to your heart if you've had those since high school, huh?
Yeah, they are.
That's
I almost
amazing.
lost them once, too.
Really?
Yeah, they ended up in someone else's hands, and I had to beg to get them back from a situation. But hey,
Really? So you went to begging?
went to
was
begging.
that strategic begging?
I will not. I will stoop. Give them back, please.
So there is a place in martial arts for complete, humble.
Oh, and
Absolutely.
we got
Expression,
some Ohio love from one Miss Luz Angela Rubin.
Oh,
She spelled out OHIO heart. Is
I
she from
think-
Ohio? I don't think I realized that. Or what's the love of Ohio there?
She did escape from Ohio to California. So,
Wow.
but her heart is still in Ohio. I don't understand that, but
Well, I get it. Like how much do I talk about Chicago on the show, right? I'm wearing my Chicago Cubs championship baseball hat, but it's backwards. But, my heart's in Chicago, but I love Los Angeles, and it's my home. And her heart is inside your heart.
absolutely, she married me.
Right. So she's checking in, so that's very exciting.
Thank you for being there, honey.
And while we're on the show and tell bit for another moment, you brought something else you could show us, right?
Oh, another toy of mine. This is called the butterfly knife.
Wow.
It's
Holy, what?
They let you through
a
security. with that?
three-sectional staff. I had it in my pants. Just kidding. It's a double-edged three-sectional knife.
Wow, and that was a gift to you. Whoa, look at this. We do get a little show and tell. I love it. I mean, that's an art. Can we see that one more time? This is... Wow.
It's hard to do over a microphone.
Right. Oh my God, Alan Rubin, ladies and gentlemen, the Nunchaku King with the demonstration. That is
Who's got a
amazing.
Band-Aid? Just kidding.
Right.
It didn't happen.
But what is the significance of that particular knife?
This knife was made by the guy who made Conan the Barbarian's sword. He made this for me when I was 15, and it has my name engraved on it. And his name is Jody Samson, and he passed away a few years ago. But this is stainless steel and has never needed to be repinned. It's very sturdy. It doesn't wobble like those cheap ones. This is back when I was 15. I think this was $300 for me.
Wow. So, like always, the show just moves right along, and we have a lot to talk about because we want to talk about like how you went from acting and martial arts into all these amazing entrepreneurial things. But Dr. Richard, maybe get in, like, I want you to ask him a few questions about, we have some pictures of him with like JeanClaude, with Chuck Norris.
Yeah, that's what I'm begging to know. Like of all these wonderful people you met, maybe could you share, one or two stories about what it was like for you to meet? I mean, were these your icons, or were they considering you at the time you met them an equal or a peer? I mean, what was it like, and what's the most memorable?
I met Chuck Norris when I was a kid because his first studio was in Torrance. It was next to a Gable House bowling alley, and I met him as a kid. And then as I got older and in the martial arts, I did not see him, and then I was introduced to him by Ed Parker himself, who is the head of Kempo Karate, Ed Parker Kempo Karate. And he said, Alan, this is Chuck Norris, and this is Alan Rubin. And I said, you and me are arch enemies. And he said, well, why is that? I said, you went to North High. I went to West High. And he started saying that his team beat us in football when he knows it's not true.
And then you just start throwing down right there?
I'm telling you. No, but he is a very honorable man, because anytime I would see him after that, he would remember who I am and start introducing me to people like Sylvester Stallone and Tony Danza. And what a man, what a sweetheart.
Anyone that introduces you to Tony Danza is a stand-up man.
I've got to tell you. And one time I heard he was filming, and I was doing background work and I was doing crew work, but I found out who was casting the extras. So I show up to his set as an extra. And next thing you know, he's like, "What are you doing here?" I go, "Oh, I'm an extra." And he goes, "Not anymore."
Wow.
And he gave me my union card, and I was able to join SAG. And
Wow.
so, I mean, it's
So
an
what was
honor.
that like right there? I mean, that's like a career-making moment.
Yeah, that's an honor and a half. I mean, if you could, as an actor, you can get your SAG card for many, many different things. But to be a martial artist and get your SAG card from Chuck Norris is a really a big honor. And what happened after that was the first AD, who's in charge of all the extras.
All Alan's friends are chiming in right now. Take it easy, says Alejandro.
Oh,
Yeah, and Alara Mills
take it
says,
easy, my friend.
Alara Mills says she's scared of you, Alan. Hashtag skills.
Thank you very much.
And also, Jeff
I like fear.
Jeff Langton, Ellen was the best.
Jeff Langton was in. There's a picture with JeanClaude Van Damme and Jeff Langton. He's the one who had the fight scene with JeanClaude Van Damme.
I have a feeling I know
He-
who lost that one.
Yeah, well, he was well.
He did good. He
He did a great job
He hung in there.
losing.
Oh, that's
And we
Yeah.
did show a picture of you and Chuck Norris, and you have you're wearing white or black, and he's wearing white. What was that picture from?
That was from Sidekicks, the movie he gave me my SAG card
Oh,
in.
wow.
I was a ninja, and
you are a ninja.
Exactly.
You are.
And yeah, that was an honor. So he made me a stand-in for the lead and a stunt ninja. And next thing you know, the AD saw me talking to him and said, "Hey, you can't talk to the stars." And I said, "What?" And next thing I know, he's telling me he can replace me. How tall am I? And I'm like, whatever. And then he came back 10 minutes later saying, "Chuck Norris told me never to talk to you that way. I'm sorry."
Wow.
And I was
Oh.
like in shock
That must have
myself.
blown you away.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it did. It's
Chuck
like I
is a
said,
really stand-up guy.
Superman. Even though he's Republican, he's amazing.
All right.
No politics on the show.
I know. We won't get started there.
but in all seriousness, Alan, when you take martial arts and you want your teachers and you want your dojo to be to emulate the respect that's taught outside, and so when you meet your icons who have taken it to celebrity, to have them be, taking you under the wing and to be treating you with that same respect, must have totally I mean, that would have just blown my mind. I mean, really solidified the importance of your career in martial arts because you had devoted so much. Right, it's one thing. A lot of people do it, right, as a kid to overcome bullying, and they do find it that way. But it's another thing to really continue. I mean, what degree did you go up through? Did you even stop counting?
I became a 5th degree. After that, it's a bit of politics for how many students you bring in and how many hours you teach, and I didn't have that kind of time. But it's amazing when somebody like that still has the middle mentality, middle class mentality. He treats people with equal. He was always very nice. And then, working with Steven Seagal on Marked for Death, and that was interesting as well. And JeanClaude Van Damme, during JeanClaude Van Damme's movie, you gotta be loved or it's dangerous, because Chuck Norris is loved and everybody will take good care of him. But I'll tell you, on the movie for JeanClaude Van Damme, there was a scene where he had to punch through a window of a Cadillac, and when he did that, the squib guy said, "Watch this," and we're like, "Watch what?" And so they said, "And action," and he punched through that Cadillac window and broke his hand because the squib guy did not blow up the window prior to the punch. And so if you make people upset, it can be dangerous. And I don't know what happened to Brandon Lee, but he's the most loved guy. That guy is like Chuck Norris and his father. Super honorable, amazing person who should have been around right now making amazing movies. He was like top quality actor, not just a martial artist.
Yeah. Wow. So, and that being said, Richard, when he asked you what levels you've gone to, but we have photos of you. You are in the Martial Arts Hall of Fame?
In a few different martial arts Hall of Fames. they find you, they see you're still alive, they say, hey.
I mean, that's pretty amazing, though, right?
So that's the only criteria that you're
they
living?
say, hey, can you still swing those things? All right, come on in. No.
So, and actually, it's funny. First of all, Jeff Langton says rematch. I guess he wants a rematch with JeanClaude.
He's bringing out all kinds of stories.
And he wants to know about where the Sly Stallone tie clips are.
Jeff took me in to Sylvester Stallone's office. He's a good friend. He was in Tango and Cash. He was in Lionheart. Yes, Jeff was a great actor and a fighter, a boxer, a martial artist, top of the line, and it was good to see him in this movie. I'm like, you're in this movie? Oh my God, Jeff, great to see you.
And
love you, Jeff.
He's also kind of segged into something we were curious about before the show, but I also want to give a shout out to Nancy Ryan that checked in, a good friend of mine. Hi, Nancy, and if Anjali is there, hi, Anjali. But Jeff gave us a little teaser. Alan worked at the Viper Room, and you had mentioned that.
Thanks, Jeff. Yes, I worked for Johnny Depp at the Viper Room, doorman, and inside next to the private room. Yeah.
Wow, that must have been some crazy experiences.
I'd say so.
Did you see it as super cool back then, or you're just like, another security job so I can get back to my training?
No, it was super cool.
It was super cool.
It was super cool. I mean, It was nice to be close to Johnny because he's really an amazing guy, too. He's very down to earth and normal. When you talk to him, he's great. And, I remember one time it was Nicolas Cage, Crispin Glover, and Jim Carrey walking up to the door. And I was like, and you are... And they're like, really, you don't know, are you on the guest list? They're like, oh my God. I'm like, just go on in. Give them a hard time. You know how doormen are. They're like so straight and serious.
I was wondering if Jim Carrey busted out, some lines on you.
He's quiet. He's a quiet person.
Did you ever have to crack out some of the Nunchaku King skills there, working with Johnny Depp at the Viper Room?
It's funny because the big guys there, who were the big bouncers there, they're like towering over me. They'd always go, Alan, we have a problem over here. Can you come take these guys out? So, but the difference is these are big guys, and I'm more of a controlling person, so I would control the person and try not to hurt them. So I just take them, get them in an arm lock, and walk them out the door, take all their drugs, and distribute it.
So we are going to segue here in a moment. We have like about a good 12 minutes left of the show. Believe it or not, it's flying right by. And I do want to get into, like, being the Richard Listens show, and we talk about a lot about athletes and what they do after their athletic careers are over. We talk a lot about youth in sports and stuff, and we've touched on that a little bit, that you teach some children and stuff, and I do want to talk a little bit about that, and I do want to talk about your transition from being a martial artist in film and all of that, transitioning into what you do now. But before that, I want to give our audience a little treat, a little blast from the past from Alan, and this is something that's going to be really fun to watch. Jarvis, can we get up the Love Connection video?
God.
So this is Alan. What year? Can you give us a little just quick teaser introduction before we play this?
What year?
Well, you didn't have to say what year, but it was Love. It was Love Connection.
Yeah, that was back a lifetime ago.
And Alan was on Love Connection.
I love
this
this
was
show.
the first thing I ever did, actually. Because of this, I got my first movie role because of this show.
Yeah,
Wow.
You were really well liked in this.
So let's go ahead and roll that, Jarvis. And here's our guest, Alan Rubin, on the Love Connection in 1987.
And now, here is our host, Chuck Woolery. Johnny Gilbert. Thank you. Look at Rick here. Don't stand in the back. Thank you. Ready to rock and roll this week. Let's get started by meeting our first guest. She likes to relax by washing her car or exercising. She's a plastic surgery consultant. And she says that she just can't seem to find a man who doesn't ask for a lot of free medical advice. Please welcome Sherry Perea. Hi, Sherry. How are you, honey? Nice to meet you, too. Come sit down. So what's the most common question that men would ask about cosmetic surgery?
Whether or not they need something done to their face, and what they can change about it.
How do you feel about that? What's your standard answer? We can get this out of the way for the rest of your life.
Being the honest person that I am, I'll usually go ahead and tell them whether or not they need their nose done, their jawline done, or something else.
Their jawline done?
Their jawline.
They can do your jawline?
Yes, yes.
What do they do, break it?
Break it, reset it, put, different silicone implants or whatever needs to be done.
So every time you go like this, they'd go... Is there a physical flaw that you would look at somebody and you wouldn't like?
The jawline.
Oh.
Yes, gotta have a very good jawline.
Even if it squishes or not?
Even if it squishes or not. Just have a weak jawline. To me, it's a sign of weakness, and I like a guy to have a strong jawline, and if I was to marry the guy, it'd be inherited towards my kids, and I wouldn't want to do that.
Okay, all right. I'm going to show you the men that Sherry had to choose from. Now, don't forget, you're going to pick the man that you think's best for her. Here we go. First, it was Alan. He has a third-degree black belt in karate. He's also a competitive kickboxer. Sounds like a fun guy. He says that his outgoing personality can be a little overwhelming to women, and here's another problem it causes.
I think that since I'm so outgoing and that they think I have lots of girlfriends and I can't be trusted in it, but I don't have any girlfriends right now, and I can be trusted.
Okay. Next, there's Lauren. He says that it really bugs him when women talk about their ex-boyfriends on dates. He's looking for a woman who's interested in art, music, sports, animals, and she should be especially interested in him because he's very anxious to fall in love. There's more on that.
I love the feeling of being so excited to see somebody and all that goes along with falling in love with a girl. It's just, to me, it's a great feeling. The little butterflies you get in your stomach, wanting to get home and call her and see what she's doing, and just the anticipation of always wanting to see somebody.
Okay, finally, Thomas. He thinks that record stores are the best place to meet women. He claims that, quote, nobody on earth is as cool as he is, and he admits that sometimes he comes off as manic, bizarre, and reckless. And we ask him how women handle his personality.
A lot of people don't understand who I am, so you try to give them a little bit of help to understand. And sometimes you scare them away. They say, "Oh, you're the weirdest person I ever met in my life," and they just run screaming away.
I'll just keep in mind that cool is a rule, and sometimes bad is bad. Anyway, anybody out there who thinks that, anybody in this middle section who thinks that they can figure out which man should be best for her, press it in the computer. Here we go. Make your choice now, please. And on that final note of direction, we'll take a break. And when we come back, we'll meet the man that Cherry selected, hear everything that happened on their date. We'll do it in 2 minutes, 2 seconds. Be right back. We're back. Cherry's going to tell us who she selected. Who you picked?
I chose Alan.
Chose Alan. There he is. Say hello to Alan Rubin. Hi, Alan. Let's come home back there. Let's hear about the date. Tell me about it.
Okay, well, Alan and I decided that we'd go out, and I picked him up at his workplace.
Mm-hmm.
And
All right. You can go to Alan's Facebook page and see the rest of the video there, but she did choose Alan, and the rest of the story is really fun, I guarantee you, but we don't want to show the whole thing on the show here, but he got chosen on the Love Connection.
Mullet and all.
Yes. Which is amazing. And while we were watching the Love Connection, Ceci Ramirez has joined us. Hi, Ceci. And another
Hey,
old
Ceci.
childhood friend of mine, Michelle Strabala Parker, has joined in. And Isaac Sanfier says Alan the Jeweler.
And David Trung agrees that she made the right choice.
Yes. And Jason Berg says go for the mullet.
Okay.
Is there a reason why they put you up against another karate instructor? I mean, that's...
No, I had no idea they were going to do such a thing.
I mean, is there like a shortage of dating opportunities for martial artists that we should tap into?
That's a good website.
So anyway, so that was just like a little fun thing that we wanted to share with people because, I mean, I could talk about 80s nostalgia and the Love Connection all night, but so that was fun. But now, Alan Rubin, the man, the myth, the Nunchaku king, So there comes a point where, you'll always be the martial artist. You'll always be the Nunchaku king. But then there comes a point where you want to make a transition. So what was that like? Was there an identifiable moment for you in life where you were like, how do I go from this to this? Did it go hand in hand? What was that transition like for you?
Well, I've done many things, and as Isaac Sanfir said, Alan the Jeweler, I actually started Dragoneer Jewelers, where I would make the logos for the different martial arts studios, or I did dragons and different pendants and jewelry that I'd have at karate tournaments. And I would set up a booth at the karate tournament, and I would have stars coming in from the movies to sign autographs at my booth as a kind of hype thing. And then I did the jewelry thing.
Does Isaac own one of those necklaces?
No, Isaac is a jeweler, and he actually...
He studied your craft. He studied your styles.
Buys old gold and diamonds.
Interesting.
But outside of what you did, this is a psychology show. So, Dr. Richard, I think you really need to get deep here. Let's get to the root of Alan's base. What was that? What was the transition like?
Well, I thought martial arts was going to be, you make it your life, and then I thought that was going to be your life, something in that. But then you move on. The jewelry, I thought that was going to be my life. And you move on from that into the tie knot covers, which I invented, that Jeff Langton mentioned, that we got to lots of stars. I got to lots of stars. It was a fashion accessory, and I moved on from that. Then I ended up, in the acting and got on the crew and learned that they feed you every day when you're on the crew. And I did that for a living for a long time. I did both sides of acting and that, and I ended up producing. And I produced some action martial art movies with Don Gibb from Bloodsport and Paulo Tocha from Bloodsport.
So it sounds like, if I may, so this sounds like a transition that was a little bit, it wasn't so sudden and it wasn't so clear. It was a process for you where some of the things you did tied into the martial arts and tied into, filmmaking and producing related to it. Was there ever a point where you had to completely divorce yourself from all these things that were fueling the martial arts career? I mean, was there ever an end to the career, or are you still continuing it in a different form?
Well, it's a part of me. I mean, I'm always doing some kind of working out of my own. I'm not training in a studio with students or higher up belts for like the hard workouts I used to do. But we all move on from things to bigger, better things. As I got into the movie industry, is when kind of the website and internet thing broke out. And in '97, I started making websites in between movies because, you got a project and then your next acting or crew working project is who knows when. So I started doing websites because it was like making movies. It was, you had to make enticing visuals, and there was flash animation back then before there were iPhones. So you can make a animated movie header as part of it's all like movies. So I continue doing that till today. I still am South Bay Website Design. I do websites, and I'm the phone app company, and I do phone apps. So we do custom phone apps for different clients, and we do custom content managed system websites. And I just executive produced a film at the same time called Zombie Killers with Misha Barton and Billy Zane. So I like
congratulations, yeah.
Thank you. I like to keep my feet
so outwardly, I mean, it looks like you have the same amount of confidence and passion for all these projects. Is that how it feels inside? Are you able to, develop that confidence that you got and self-esteem from martial arts into all these other projects, or is there a certain little bit of a loss of not being able to, fly through the air in quite the same way, or
yes, I compete.
Can. Exactly. That's
actually my childhood friend Sean Miller wants to know if you could compete with the Gracie brothers.
You know what? That's different. We're like the original MMA. It was, become a black belt in different styles of martial arts, not go to a place and here's a little this, here's a little that. I would say that the Gracies are great, and I'm not in strict Brazilian jiu-jitsu right now, so I would say no. These guys would kick my butt.
So you make a great point, because everyone wants to make it about like, oh, who can beat who, and can you beat Andre the Giant, and it's all about I mean, is that the way a martial artist thinks? I can beat the guy from the other discipline, or is it more of a respect and a camaraderie?
Me, it was a personal survival thing. I just learned it for my own personal survival and my own confidence and my collection of arsenal, exactly. I learned from different styles their different weapons. They have their types of kicks. That works for me. That doesn't work for me. They have their types of chokes, and so on. So it's based on. I had a quest to learn all different styles because I like the different flows and use what works best for you. And that's how it has definitely helped in every way in my life, the martial arts, because everything in life is a battle. Every business you try to start is a battle. You have to get clients, you have to get a flow of income, it's nonstop. So if it wasn't for the martial arts, I don't know how many times I would have quit before I got successful.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Continue.
So the perseverance and the willingness to never give up.
You got to have that fire within you. You have to have a fire that you're wanting it, and you're doing it, and you want to get this thing going, and you can't just sit around and wait for it to come to you. You got to go do it. Many people think of very good ideas, but do they ever make the things? You have to do it. You just make a prototype of whatever it is you're thinking of. See if that'll work. See if somebody else believes in it. Get financing. Whatever the case is, you have to continue with your forward momentum on anything that you believe in. And you know what? I got new things coming out, new ideas and new projects and new stuff. So
yeah, it's beautiful. It's amazing what you've done. And that's what martial arts is beautiful, because even if it's doing one Kempo or, showing up at one tournament and showing up and letting yourself be judged by peers in a place of safety and with people you trust, you get to feel that success and that confidence grow. So I'm glad to see there's so many people giving their teenagers this outlet
absolutely
on a larger basis and translating these skills to business and life.
And it's really amazing because usually toward the end of the show, which we're at, I ask our guests to kind of give us some motivation to our audience and stuff, and you came right out with it. We didn't have to ask you. That's beautiful, Alan. And Ceci says, "You guys, this is such a cool show." And your wife agrees that it's a great show and
you
diverse.
do have one fan wanting to know if you cook as well as all your other skills.
Yeah.
Well,
Michelle wants to know, do you also cook? Because you're so incredibly rounded.
I can cook, but no gourmet.
And someone else reminded us that you're also a pilot.
Yeah, I have
I
a
think that
pilot's
was Jeff.
license.
Wow.
Whatever you want to do. I'm a scuba diver. I'm a pilot.
That was
Whatever
Jason.
you want to do, you can. You should do. Life is short.
Can you do nunchakos while scuba diving?
As a matter of fact, I use them as floaties.
So that being said, the show has sped right by. We really will thank you in one moment, but really quick, the Richard Listens list of 3. We are back live 2 weeks from tonight, Monday, December 12th. Number 1 on the Richard Listens list of 3 is Wendy Rosenthal. I was about to say Wendy Rosenberg. I don't know why I fumble with names. Number 2 on the Richard Listens list of 3 is
Era Schweitzer.
Yes.
Schwitzer.
Okay, now I got you fumbling
See?
on names. Number 3 on the Richard Listens list of 3. And can you call up this picture, Jarvis? It's of Deb Richard.
Deb Richard.
Deb Richard. Excuse me. Deb Richard is going to be our guest.
Former LGBA golfer.
Yes, and she was like a pro on the circuit for like over 20 years. So really
involved
amazing
in the Sports
guest.
Academy. So we're excited to hear about their work.
And so we've got that Richard Listens list of 3 with Wendy, Era, and Deb. And it's going to be a great show. We have big things to announce for next year that's tied in with that Richard Listens list of 3. So definitely tune in 2 weeks for that. There will be a link for this show up on Richard Listens Facebook page on Wednesday.
Yeah, share it with your friends. Invite your friends.
And also make sure to like the Richard Listens page and also subscribe to the YouTube page where the link is at, because the more subscribers and likes we get, the better. And Jarvis has all the information for you up on the screen there. So with all of that business being done, with great things ahead, with the live show in 2 weeks, with the big announcement for the new year, being in the here and now once again, what a pleasure, Richard, to have Alan on our show, right?
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
We hope you come back next time with Sly and Chuck.
So thank you for being here, Alan, and thank you all for checking in and for the comments, and thank you for watching Richard Listens.
That was our most live check-ins yet, so thank you all.
Yep.
Keep checking
We'll
in.
see you in 2 weeks. Good night.